All right, today I'm asking the age-old question. Can you eat your clarinet reeds?
My name is Josh Gu, and after years of studying the clarinet with some of the best teachers from around the world, I am excited to be sharing my knowledge with you. So go to QuickStartClarinet.com or check the description on this video to see all of the wonderful resources I have to help you reach your clarinet dreams. And of course, subscribe to this channel for weekly clarinet and music tips and tricks.
First, disclaimer, do not try this at home. Also, disclaimer, this isn't my normal educational content. This is purely for entertainment and just messing around and kind of something I've always been interested in and curious about. And I feel like there's a lot of beginning clarinetists or maybe more experienced clarinetists who are curious about this. From when I very first started playing, I actually tried to convince one of my friends to play clarinet. And I told her, like, the new reeds taste sort of like a noodle, like, as a selling point for playing the clarinet somehow. So I think I've always been curious about this, and I figured, why not give it a shot and film it? Now, I think out of frustration probably before, I think I have bitten a reed, and it was not very good. So I think we can intuitively know that just a plain old clarinet reed is not very edible. But if you think about, like, in Chinese food sometimes, there's like the little bamboo shoots that seem quite reed-like and they're quite edible. So I was curious, like, does boiling a reed help? And that led me to a whole culinary experience of trying to cook reeds in different ways. So we have our sort of control, which is just a plain old reed, nothing fancy to it. Gotta have that control group for science. And then we have a pickled reed. It's not like officially pickled, but I just threw it in a jar of pickles for a couple weeks with the pickle juice to see what happens to it. We have an air fried reed, very popular cooking technique for many things. You can see, hopefully, the tip of it is all beat up because it was sort of blowing around in the air fryer. It's also remarkably dark. It definitely got cooked, so I'm really curious about that one. And then I have a boiled reed. The pickled reed was in the pickle juice for a few weeks. Air fryer, 10 to 15 minutes at 390 degrees in the air fryer. And boiled reed for 20 to 25 minutes boiling, of course, with salted water because you have to salt your water whenever you're boiling things. But don't worry about the instructions because you shouldn't try this at home anyways. Now, I was just planning on just eating them and trying to see what happens. But then as I was cooking them, especially as the air fryer one turned brown, which I really wasn't expecting at all, I was just thinking, I gotta try and see if these play. So I'm also gonna try playing them. And again, don't do this at home. Hopefully you've heard that you shouldn't play with sugary drinks or like drinking soda or eating food because that can get in the instrument and make bad things happen, like mold and things like that. So don't try any of this at home, but definitely don't try this part at home. But I have my backup clarinet. I'll be sure to clean it out well. I'm not going to play for too long on them, obviously. But I had to give it a try. Can't just eat them without trying them. So this is the control reed. So hopefully it'll sound like a clarinet and should sound normal and will give us sort of something to reference here as we go. Okay, there's a reed. Next up, the pickled reed. This will also be sort of my first taste. You can see it's very saturated. It's a very waterlogged reed. I'm anticipating the pickled reed and the boiled reed will play, but will be very soft. Pretty tasty. And then the air fried reed, I think, probably won't play because the tip is so beat up. I'm just going to try to lick off as much pickle juice as I can so that there's not too much pickle juice going into the clarinet. Let's give it a shot. those surprisingly worked. It actually felt a little bit hard. Could also be because this is a different mouthpiece than I normally play on, so maybe all the reeds are going to feel a little bit more resistant. It certainly didn't vibrate. It wasn't a full, beautiful sound. Also, the pickles that I put them in were spicy pickles, so it, like, kind of burns my tongue to articulate. That's fun. I'm actually going to do the boiled reed next, save the air fryer one for last. I imagine the boiled one will be very similar. I don't even need to wet it because it's already completely waterlogged from being boiled. How convenient. Okay, boiled reed. That's more of what I was expecting, where it feels very, very soft, but, you know, still playable. Still sounded like a clarinet. I'm really surprised. I'm also curious. It looks like if we compare like the boiled one to a normal one, this is the same cut of reed. They're all... Wait, are they the same? Ah, they're not the same. Okay, that's why. This is a D'Addario Reserve Classic, and this is a Reserve Evolution. I was noticing the tip shape is different, but the tip shape's different because they were cut differently, not because of how they were cooked. So you can not, in fact, change your reed just by clicking it. Wow. That tastes kind of good. Yeah, it's sort of like a smoky, charcoaly taste. That makes sense. But also kind of chocolatey, too. I'm looking forward to eating that one. Oh my gosh. I don't think this one's going to play. You can probably see better against the mouthpiece. The tip of this one really got beat up in the air fryer. But for science, we have to try, right? Pretty hard. Which makes sense because all the soft tip got cooked off. Whew. Still kind of playable. I'm actually really shocked at how well all of these reeds played. I think the original is the best. The uncooked all natural reed plays the best. But now the moment we've all been waiting for, eating them and seeing if any of these cooking methods actually worked. I had hopes that like boiling it would have made it soft like a bamboo shoot that you get in actual food. But it didn't turn out so good, so I think this might be a little anticlimactic. But starting with our control of all natural, uncooked, here we go. Wish me luck. I did do some research. I'm pretty sure they're edible and not toxic, so all right, uncooked reed. There's definitely not any flavor, but easier to eat than I was expecting. Hopefully I don't get any splinters. I should probably have some water. Not sure if I'm going to swallow this. Okay, that was surprisingly not terrible. A little hard to chew, but I feel like it's breaking down in my mouth a bit. Okay, on to the pickled reed. I actually have high hopes. I think the pickled one might break down a little faster because it's been in the pickle juice. I think it'll definitely have more flavor considering how spicy it was to articulate on it. So here we go. Pretty crunchy. I feel like this one's harder to get a bite out of. Pretty splintery. Still not much flavor. I feel like I'm not getting like enough of the reed in my mouth. Ugh. Maybe I could just like suck on it. You know, an interesting point. All the reeds that I used were like old reeds that were dead. so they were pretty broken in. And again, my theory is when we break in reeds, we want to sort of seal off the pores so that it doesn't absorb a lot of water and get sucked in. And I think it feels like most of the pickle juice was very surface level. Didn't make it too deep, where I sort of just like sucked off the surface juice and then it was just a plain old reed. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab my water though. I'm starting to get some reed fiber build up in my mouth. Okay, I did also spit out some reed chunks off camera. Let's go into the boiled reed, because again, I think that's going to be very similar to the pickled one. This one, maybe the water saturated in further, and it does feel very soft at the tip, so maybe... Oh, yeah, it's definitely more biteable. Still pretty splintery. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Let me see if I can get more. I feel like the boiling brought out a little bit more flavor, actually. Maybe even more flavor than the pickled one. Or maybe I just got a bigger bite. I'm tasting more of the cane. Uh-huh. Well, nice and splintery. And last but not least, definitely the one I'm looking forward to the most is the air fried one, just from putting it in my mouth to play it. It seemed like it might actually have flavor to it, and especially because like you can see, it's really cooked through. Like both sides are brown. Yeah, it might have some nice smoky flavor to it. We'll see about the texture. I'm imagining it will also be pretty splintery, but maybe it'll break apart, sort of like a chip that's been air fried. Yeah. I'll have a lot more break apartage to it. Whereas the other one sort of splintered off, this one I was able to get a bite of. Definitely the most flavor. Very similar to like eating a sunflower seed, but like just the shell of the sunflower seed. I think that's a good analogy for all of these. This one really has that sort of roasted taste to it. A little bit like a burnt marshmallow. Yeah, really reminiscent of s'mores. Maybe it has that little campfire effect of burnt wood. Also be careful when you are not air frying your reeds at home, because you should not do this at home. Be careful that doesn't catch on fire. That was a concern that I had. Yeah. Definitely though, I think the most edible cooking method is definitely the air fryer. I'd be curious. Maybe oven baked could be good. I'm not going to do another video of this. I think we've answered the question of if reeds are edible. I was really disappointed in the boiled one. Like I said, I really thought that it would turn into like a boiled bamboo shoot. I think the key is that the bamboo shoots are much younger, and this is fully mature cane. Basically just wood at this point. Whereas the bamboo shoots that you eat are like the young shoots that are more plant-like than wood. Get some of those good fibers out of there. Not bad though. This was a worthwhile experiment. I hope that you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed doing it. And I feel confident that I no longer have a desire to try eating my reeds, because now I've done it. I would say it's not worth it. Don't try it at home. But air fryer, definitely the best. Not the best for playing. None of them played better. Unfortunately, we didn't come up with any secret hacks to improve our clarinet reeds. That would have been really fun. But yeah, reeds, not super edible. The air fried one was interesting. Don't try it at home. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see educational clarinet content, not just funny stuff of me eating reeds, but maybe we'll do some more funny stuff too. Definitely like the video if you found this enjoyable. I think this was pretty educational, because now we know not to eat our reeds. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me on a little bit sillier video. We'll be back to the normal educational content next week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.